Coming up on Pushing Boundaries, rally car driver Travis Pastrana heads to New Hampshire, where he puts his driving skills to the test. Will he have what it takes to overcome one of the world's most treacherous courses?
Welcome everyone to Pushing Boundaries. I'm Pat Parnell.
And I'm Maylene Ramey. The first double backflip in an FMX competition, the world record for the longest jump in a rally car. These are just a couple achievements in the storied career of Travis Pastrana. In this episode, we travel to Mount Washington, New Hampshire in the northeastern United States to catch up with Travis.
That's right, this four-time Rally America champ has decided to add yet another record to his long list. His latest mission? To set the record for the fastest time up the Mount Washington hill climb, a goal that has quite the history to it.
Mount Washington. Some of the most extreme weather on the planet. In 1934, a wind gust of 231 miles per hour pushed across the summit. The Mount Washington Auto Road first opened in 1861 when the Union was still made up of 34 states and Abraham Lincoln was president. The 7.6-mile auto road is one of the ultimate challenges for driver and automobile. The serpentine tarmac and gravel road is lined with trees and dramatic drop-offs as it winds its way to the 6,288-foot summit of the Northeast's tallest peak. Considered one of the oldest motorsport events in the United States, the climb to the clouds was first run in 1904, 7 years before the first Indianapolis 500, and 12 years prior to the inaugural Pikes Peak hill climb in Colorado. There's one man who wants to make the fastest ascent ever.
For me, I always wanted to hit the biggest jumps, and it's faster to stay low, it's faster to take the inside lines, and I was always that guy. I was always the guy going wide and getting past him the last lap just so I could, find some jump somewhere that no one else had done, and crashing all the time, and everyone just thought I was an idiot, and then all of a sudden the X Games came around, and it was a sport for me. When the X Games really started taking off and freestyle movement came across, it was neat because I could really pioneer the tricks and kind of segue all of my racing and all the work that I had done and my parents had done and that whole family to support me and into something that I was really passionate about. They said, hey, it's $10,000 for first place. Sign me up, that'll pay for pretty much the rest of the season to get to all the races, and I went ahead and won the X Games, and turns out I was better at doing tricks than I ever was at racing, so it's really tough as an athlete to look back on your career or whatever. I mean, I'm not that old, I'm 26, and say, where did you set the bar? When I was 14, I ended up winning the first ever World Freestyle Championship. The second one would probably be winning the Outdoor National Championship when I was 16. I was the youngest person to ever do that at the time. The third time was the double backflip, and I think that was something that a lot of guys didn't really think was possible because it wasn't really thought of that a 220-pound dirt bike could flip around twice. With age, get a cage, and I couldn't agree more. Motocross is a lot of fun. It's very, very physical. Car racing is more learned. Still, you have the balance, but the balance is less with your body. It's more with your feet and your hands. And rally was kind of what fit in the most. It was something you could jump. You were always going over blind crests. You didn't really know what you were doing. And it was cool because it was like a team sport. And I never really had any team sports growing up, especially with motocross. From that point on, every time I was hurt, I was in the car. This was the first time I'd ever seen the roads here at Mount Washington. I mean, I'd seen pictures of it and stuff, and then everyone always told me how treacherous it was and how crazy it was, and it was the home of the world's worst weather. My stepdad's a pilot. He's like, yeah, I think they had like 240-mile-an-hour winds up there. He said, yeah, it's gonna be, you never know. It could be raining on one side and foggy on the other and sunny on the other. I'm like, oh great, this is gonna be hell. I kind of thought maybe it was being over-exaggerated, and then we took the first run up this beast over here, and I was like, wow, there are a lot of rocks and a lot of big cliffs really, really close to the road. For me, to wake up every morning with a smile on my face and a passion is worth more than anything. And a lot of time you spend, wondering if it's, really worth it. But for me, there's only about a 1/10 of a second before it's like, yeah, this is so much better than a real job. Like, sign me up. I'd shoot myself if I had to work at a desk every day. So this is awesome. It's where my heart is, where my passion is.
An aspect of rally car racing that hasn't been mentioned yet, the co-driver. Up next, Travis meets the newest member of his team.
Welcome back. When Travis Pastrana first started to make a name for himself, it was as a gold medalist in the emerging sport of freestyle motocross. Competitions pitting rider against rider.
Right, even with the mechanic and the pit crew, freestyle motocross is definitely an individual sport. When Travis transitioned to rally car racing, all that changed.
The most challenging part from coming from motocross to rally was more of the team aspect. The dynamic of driver, co-driver is quite interesting, especially when you have a new co-driver, and especially when you're not from the same country.
I'm from Northern Ireland, County Fermanagh, which is in the northwest side of Ireland, just in from Donegal. Rallying has always been in my family's blood.
Oh, you got a map.
Co-driver is the office manager of the car.
Wow, 2 pencils. 2 pencils and 2 watches. You're a proper co-driver.
It is your job to make sure that you check into your controls on time, to get the car from stage to stage, and then on the stage you have to obviously read the pace notes to get from the start of the stage to the finish of the stage.
Right 4 plus. The plus on that.
They always say trust is earned, and I agree 100% with that. But with rally, you kind of have to go off of reputation.
But yeah, opens long. It opened to like a 4 plus.
But without the proper team, you're not going to set a record that's been around for a while. I mean, Mount Washington Hill Climb's been ran for a very long time.
I didn't realize when I was coming over the actual significance of the Mount Washington Auto Road. It means an awful lot to me to have been given the chance to come over and do this.
Keep left, right 6 minus at rocks.
That in-car relationship is pretty cool, and it's neat how everything comes together, but it completely changes because at the beginning, I'm making the notes and I'm telling him what to write.
Travis uses a specific type of notes. Pace notes are very individual to the driver, and it's up to the co-driver to fit into that mold.
For making the notes, it's all the driver.
Because it comes in, it tightens with a 6 or whatever. Instead of a 6, just 5 plus.
For driving the stage, it's all the co-driver.
Right 4 tightens 3 minus at crest. Kink right, left 3.
So it's kind of opposite of what most people would think.
Travis uses a numbered system, which is 1 to 6, which is very, very simple. As in 6th gear is flat out, so a right 6 is absolutely flat out, and a right 1 is 1st gear corner. So it's very, very simple to know the severity of the bend.
The first couple corners, okay, maybe a little leery.
Right 3 plus, left 5 minus.
Let's go 3 plus.
10 corners in, saying, all right, this guy's on it. His notes are spot on and everything's good.
Right 6 plus over max crest, 100.
Problem comes when you have the tags on the corners, so you've got opens, tightens, late, anything like that there. 2
of the things, one, learning what just sound like gibberish. There's left 6 over 200, oh, crest, opens, tightens. I'm like, what are you talking about?
He doesn't note some of the faster corners that you can see through, so, you know, like the left, right, left.
Care tightens, narrow kinks.
I mean, he speaks English, but I don't understand half the words he said, so we made a few words up. On the first pass up, I was like, what would you call that?
Stop for a second. All right, what would you have said with those kinks there?
He's like, I don't know.
And then little...
He was like, put that down as kinks or something, but it wasn't a kink, so we had to come up with a word. So I said, what is it, like jiggy jiggy?
Jiggy jiggy. So you just call it the jiggy jiggy?
We said something, I'm like, I can't understand what you're saying. So just call it the jiggy jiggy.
He goes, yeah, jiggy jiggy, that'll do. Yeah, man, yeah, cool.
Narrow jiggy jiggy.
It was like a zigzag. He couldn't say zigzag, so we just went with the jiggy jiggy.
Care tightens, narrow, jiggy jiggy.
Some of Travis's, let's say, terminologies are funny.
We were making words up. I use a word in Swedish, which basically means the inside radius stays the same, the outside radius comes in.
He uses a word called sumpa, and he told me sumpa, and I went, what?
And I'll use a zimbim.
Zenden?
Another driver that I sit with uses an Arabic word called zimbim.
Zimbim?
Which is exactly the same meaning as what his sumpa means.
What's the difference?
I didn't understand it all, so I'm like, no, you gotta start speaking Swedish, you gotta say jiggy jiggy, you gotta...
Normally a co-driver really doesn't need to know what it means, as long as they call it back. As long as it means something to the driver, you could call it a banana right. As long as it means something to them, that's 100%.
You're expecting me to get a lisp, are you?
What? No. Shh. What was the word?
Shrite? What?
Right.
Shrite.
You could say Red Bull right and, you know, BFG left, if that means something to your team.
What is it?
SHATTERS left. You're good.
And then the dynamic completely switches because I kind of have control over what he writes down, and then he tells me what to do, and I'm just a puppet.
Right 5 minus, don't cut. Right 6 plus over max crest, 100. Left 4 plus, tightens 4.
You know, by halfway, I wasn't even hearing the notes. They were just, you know, flowing. Like when he was saying them, it was just like I could just visualize the road as it was coming. That's something that you usually don't get for quite some time with a new co-driver. The timing's just always a little off. Every driver needs to hear it at a little different time and needs a little bit different amount of information.
And left 6 minus over crest.
I do exactly what he tells me to do. And if he says hold a pin, we hold a pin. He says turn left, we turn left. If there's a cliff over there and he says turn left, we're going off the cliff. My job is really simple. Do whatever the co-driver tells me and go as fast as I possibly can.
The timing of the notes here is going to be critical.
It really does matter. I mean, if we get a note wrong, we crash. And if we crash off one of these cliffs, well, I wouldn't say die, but possibly. So we try to avoid that at all costs. The car that we're driving has officially climbed Mount Washington.
Coming up, weather threatens their attempt in the form of low clouds and limited visibility.
Welcome back, everyone, to Pushing Boundaries. Travis Pastrana has been racing rally cars since 2003. And just 3 years later, he won the first of 4 consecutive Rally America championships. An accomplishment even more impressive when you consider the wide array of conditions a driver has to master.
Conditions ranging from snow and ice to scorching heat. Drivers race on dirt trail, gravel roads, and paved streets, up mountains and through forests, in rain, fog, or sunshine. And it's not only the drivers who have to be versatile, but their cars as well.
All right, here's Travis's car. The driver's compartment. It's got a Recaro race seat in it where he sits down low to keep the center of gravity nice and low. He sits back in the car so that the weight is back further, and of course the steering column is lengthened that way also. The shift lever, this is a sequentially shifted gearbox, which it shifts like a motorcycle. You just keep pulling in one direction to go up and then the other direction to go down. And then the handbrake is a hydraulic handbrake that locks the rear tires hydraulically with the calipers to help it get around corners on the tighter stuff. So he may pull that handbrake when he's driving. Of course, you see him shifting when he's driving using the sequential gearbox. This car is also enabled to drive on the street because during the rallies, they have to drive from stage to stage on public roads. So it's road registered and has lights and horn and all the other things that you would need to drive it on the street safely. It's got a 5-point belt harness here that holds the driver and the co-driver in. And then of course the structure of the roll cage is tied in many places. It's very strong throughout the car. In the event of a crash, whether it be side impact or a rollover, it's very well reinforced. All right, so the Subaru, it's a boxer 4-cylinder engine just like the STi would have from the factory. We do a lot of upgrades to it, performance upgrades, turbo upgrades. It's a turbocharged 4-cylinder in its basic form, but we have some things that we do, you know, the better intake manifold, the front mount intercooler, which sits underneath the bumper. This is the plumbing for the intercooler. The direct air intake right to the turbocharger. The turbocharger is an uprated piece that's delivers a lot more horsepower than the ones from the street. The BF Goodrich tires and rims and brakes do a really good job here because of the mix of asphalt and gravel. With the performance of this car and tires, we feel confident that it can take the punishment that Travis can give it here at Mount Washington Auto Road.
We had quite a bit of rain this morning. All the roads were real wet, but two positive notes. It's really windy, especially at the top, and it's on a pretty steep hill, so there's not a lot of puddles. But if you look up at the top, it's going to be just like fog. You can't see 2 feet in front of the car, so that could be a problem all day because they said there's going to be clouds rolling in basically the entire time. Around 10 o'clock, it's supposed to start pouring down rain again, so it's going to be wet, but hey, that's what rally's all about, so just make it a little more difficult to get this record.
There's a big difference between wrecking at 30 miles an hour and actually traveling up at 70, 80, maybe 110 in places we just don't know yet.
This is such a cool experience to be able to try
hit this hill. This is first time driving the 2011 STi. Thing's absolutely insane. So a lot quicker than the cars we've been running this last couple years, and it's a little light in the back, which is good. Light's better than heavy. So just trying to maybe soften the rear suspension up and really get this thing to stick.
So here's the situation with the road. The first 3/4 of a mile is damp. It dries out. As soon as you get above tree line, it's bone dry.
Awesome.
The last half to 3/4 of a mile is completely in the clouds.
Awesome.
About 100-foot visibility.
Okay.
One fraction of a second late with a note could spell disaster. So that's what we're concentrating on now.
The beauty of trying to set a record is that you're just going to go wide open. So basically, there's no need for time. I don't have a speedometer. I don't have a clock. There's nothing. I mean, the co-driver will have his stopwatch on just to verify that the times are close or what they're getting us on. But if he has time to look down at his clock, I'm not doing my job.
Clear to go. Yeah, we just go up the road. That we can do. This car's sweet. Hopefully the weather holds up for like 2 or 3 runs. That'd be sick.
Coming up, all preparations are complete, and it's up to Travis and Marshall to see if they can break the record. Welcome back. As Travis and Marshall prepare to make their record-breaking attempt up the 7.6-mile-long Mount Washington Auto Road, the time they have on their minds is 6 minutes, 41.99 seconds.
That's right, a time set by Frank Sprongel in 1998 in a Climb to the Clouds competition, a hill climb that's taken place on Mount Washington since 1904.
We got some rain up top.
Yeah, it's
not any wipers, do we?
They'll work pretty well, yeah. It's what? You want to soften it back up a little bit. We'll take you back to service. We'll change the tires, put some fuel in, and we'll go again. I'm Clint Fast, team manager for Subaru Rally Team USA. We're here at Mount Washington today with Travis, just to check everything on the car, make sure it's okay. We're just making a few changes to the setup of the car and get the car dialed in so he's happy.
There's a huge difference in the tires. This time out we're going with the Rally Tarmac spec BFG tire. So this tire, I'm just hoping I can really put the power down. It's going to be a little more sideways, it's going to be a little more fun, possibly a little more scary, but at the same time it's going to be more comfortable for me to push the car to 100, 110% going up this hill and just really test it out.
All camera position. This car has passed you on the descent.
Going to the top!
You all in, Hans? Yeah, I'm ready to go.
I'll stop him right on the line.
Check the pressures or?
Sean's doing it right now. We put 10 liters of fuel in, that's all we've done. And then we'll give you the 1-minute warning and the 30-second.
We're not going to know our time the whole way up, so there's really no point in us to look down or to try to check, because that's just going to slow the overall time down.
Road is hot, be advised, road is hot.
15. Okay, buddy, best of luck. You too.
We're going to go as fast as we can all the way up this mountain, and if it doesn't set the record, we're going to find a way to go faster.
5, 4, 3.
Go. 70. Left 6 minus, opens, tightens max, and tightens right 4. Kinks 100. Right 6 minus, and left 6. Kinks 100. Left 6 minus, 100. Right 5 minus, don't cut, and left 4, right 3 plus, 100. Right 6 plus over max crest, 100. Crest, short left, right 5. Keep left over crest and right 4. Right 6, care, tightens, narrow, jiggy, crest, right 3 minus, don't cut, left 4 minus, opens, dirt. Oh, fuck, there we go, we got it. 100. The king left 5 and right 4 long, tightens 3. and rest, opens, tightens, 4 plus. Repeat, left 6, tightens, 4, left. Rest, right 6, long, tightens, 3.
Well done. Cool. Hey, thank you. The notes were really good, man. Much appreciated.
No problem.
I think you smoked it.
6:20.47.
Thank you very much. Well, shoot, it's only 10:30.
His time was 6:20.47, so he beat the old time by 21.52 seconds.
Hey, nice job, buddy.
Hey, thanks.
6:20.47.
Sweet, man.
21.5 seconds quicker.
It was a really interesting corner on this course. The car jumped, so it was all the way off the ground, and it landed on the outside 2 tires, and the tires hooked up so well, it rode those 2 tires around the entire corner.
Hey, Travis Pastrana here to set the fastest time up Mount Washington Auto Road.
Hey, thank you guys so much. Just giving us the opportunity to come here and test is super cool.
Darn good day, man. Woohoo! See you in a few months.
It's official, Travis Pastrana and Marshall Clark have the record for the fastest time up the Mount Washington Auto Road at 6 minutes, 20.47 seconds.
That's right, in 2011, the climb to the clouds made a return after a 10-year hiatus, so keep an eye out for the race. That's going to do it for this edition of Pushing Boundaries. Until next time, I'm Pat Parnell.
And I'm Maylene Ramey. Thanks for watching.